Hello, my name's Ned, and in this video we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about different fallacies that appear in League of Legends and some terms that I'm going to coin. And to start, we're going to define what a fallacy is. A fallacy is a mistaken belief, especially one based on an unsound argument. So this you'll often hear this in if you ever take like a philosophy class in high school or college. It's basically just talking about the things you should not do in argumentation. So, the very famous one is the straw man fallacy, where you take somebody's argument and then you take a specific argumentational point that their camp often uses that's very weak, and you bring that in as if they had said it, and you argue against that because it's easier to attack. And so at that point, you're not arguing against them, you're arguing against a straw man. You're arguing against something that you created to make your argumentation more easy to win a debate, to look like you're winning a debate. So a common example of this is, let me think of one. So it would the abortion debate, right? So the pro-choice people think that women should have a right to an abortion, and the pro-life people think that there should be no abortions at all. So what the pro-life people would do sometimes is they say, well, you think we should just be able to go around slaughtering infants then, huh? And of course that's not true. Nobody thinks we should be able to go around slaughtering infants, but that's an easy argument to attack because nobody wants anybody to slaughter infants. And then the semantics gets into it about whether they consider the fetus an infant or whatever. Fuck, I don't care. But that's an example of a straw man argument. A different, or a straw man fallacy. A different example of a fallacy is the slippery slope fallacy, which is it commonly occurred when there was a whole debate about gay marriage, where people are saying, well, if you can get married to another man, then maybe you can get married to your hamster or your sister or something like that. Like, where is it going to stop? Meaning that you're extrapolating these ideas past their original argumentation point. And so those are things that you want to avoid in argumentation because it makes you look silly to anybody who has a clue how to debate anything. And it's bad argumentation. So without further ado, I'll get into the ones that have to do with League of Legends. The first one I'm going to talk about is a term I coined called the skill shot fallacy. And I'm going to talk about the difference between missing a skill shot and dodging a skill shot. Somebody dodging a skill shot. So let's say I'm playing Nidalee. I throw my spear, and there's a guy running directly to where the spear is going to go. And they're going to hit each other. But then he flashes. In that scenario, I didn't miss the skill shot. Well, I did in the literal sense of where I didn't hit it, so it was missed. But the skill shot was going to hit, and he dodged it. It's kind of like the idea of the burden of proof. So um, in the courts in America, we have innocent until proven guilty, which means the burden of proof is on the prosecutor to prove that the person did the crime. They're already assumed not guilty, so the burden of proof lies with the person who's trying to make them seem guilty. So in this case, once I throw the skill shot and it's about to hit, the burden of dodging the skill shot now falls upon the enemy player. So if they don't dodge it, and they should be they're bad. And if they do dodge it, it shouldn't be considered I'm bad because I threw the skill shot in the right place. But let's say I throw the skill shot in the completely opposite direction, and there's no chance it was ever going to hit. Well, then that's my fault, clearly. If there's no way I could ever hit the skill shot, or maybe I throw it entirely behind them. Sometimes people do that because they think they're going to flash backwards, but that just gets into a whole prediction point. The point I'm trying to make is don't criticize your teammates when they miss a skill shot, because you should be paying attention to where the skill shot was thrown. If it was going to hit and then the person reacted after the skill shot was thrown, then there's nothing that could have been done to hit the skill shot any differently. Every skill shot, unless there's CC already on you, or your movement speed is too slow, is going to be able to be dodged. So, therefore, it's not the person who threw the skill shot's fault always if they miss it. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. So, the reason why it's called the skill shot fallacy is when people say you missed the skill shot when it was, instead of missed, it was dodged. Okay, next fallacy we're going to get into is we're going to call the see it worked fallacy, where one player on your team, maybe, or you, could be anybody, makes a bad call that works out. and then they say, see, it works. Just because the call worked out doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. So let's say um, one of our teammates dies, and I'm the jungler, and I say, hey, let's get Baron, and the whole enemy team is alive. And we four-man that Baron, we kill it, and then we recall because the other team is idiots, and for whatever reason they didn't realize we were at Baron. That was me relying on the enemy team to be stupid to make the play, which means it was not the correct play, even though it worked. Hindsight, you could argue, yes, it was the correct play, but you don't have that premonition when you're calling the play. So you should always do the play that makes more sense. I'll give a real life example. So let's say there's a dollar bill, $100 bill, we'll say, surrounded by rattlesnakes, poisonous rattlesnakes, with their little shakers going and everything. And you're like, oh, I want that $100 bill. So you run through all these rattlesnakes, you grab the $100 bill, you run out, and you're never bitten. In that scenario, it still was not a smart idea to go try to get that $100 bill because you were risking your life. But you still went and you got it, and the turnout was okay. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is just because something worked doesn't mean it was the right call at the time. So those are the two fallacies I wanted to talk about that I could think about off the top of my head right now. If you have any more, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below because I find this kind of stuff interesting. And with that, I'll leave off the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.